All right. I'm going to do the same as usual. Bless our speech, make our speech beneficial and powerful for the world. I love this meditation. So we can put it up, can we? But don't put it up yet. Let me just see you all for a minute. Let's just get settled in first. Settle in. The body doesn't meditate, but all the yogis have found over the centuries, it's appropriate for it to be in a conducive position. So it enables this subtler mind, especially our subtler mind and subtler physical energies to be flowing nicely. So let's double check the body, just get it in the right position. If we can sit in what they call full lotus position, it's wonderful. His Holiness the Dalai Lama says it's really auspicious to start your session, if you can, in that position, even for like a second, to get your legs into that position with each instep on the other thigh. And the reason is because for the great yogis who meditate day and night, the body's incredibly stable. You can sit like that for ages. They don't topple over. No other position can do that. If you're sitting in a chair, you'd completely slump, Even sitting regular cross-legged, you'd slump and fall over. But these yogis can sit like that for a long, long time. So it's really auspicious, especially for the more advanced practices. This is what His Holiness says. But if you can't, of course, it's okay. Sit in half lotus. And if you can't do that, ordinary. And if you can't do that, sit in a chair, whatever you can do. But to know the logic behind it, it's really helpful. So then there's about 7 points about the body. So the next one, the legs is one. The next one is your bottom. Somehow, if your legs are very flexible and you can sit in full lotus, it's good to have a cushion just propping up under your coccyx, so you thrust slightly forward. It's very stable. But you adjust to the cushions that work for you if you sit cross-legged. And if you're sitting in a chair, what's crucial is you don't slump into the chair. Don't lean into the back of the chair. That's why it's good not to meditate on a very comfortable sofa. Because one of the crucial things about meditation, it's not relaxation. People think they're the same thing. They're totally different. There are some wonderful relaxation techniques, and we need them because our minds are crazy, but that's not meditation. Meditation is the exact opposite. You're not trying to relax. Okay, when your mind's advanced, you would be relaxed. You're trying to train the mind. You're trying to train your mind, and that takes effort. So sitting upright and your feet firmly planted on the ground if you're sitting in a chair. That's the next one. So the third one is that's your legs, your bottom, your back upright. Well, it would be properly, nicely upright. But what happens is if we sit upright, we tense our muscles. So it doesn't say like this in the text, but I like to put it this way. If you think, like your skeleton is upright, have all your bones upright, but then the muscles hanging on the bones completely relaxed. So sit upright and then flop the muscles, especially abdomen. It doesn't say this, but we all tense our abdomen. I think we don't like to look fat, even if we are fat, which I'm fat. So I know about that. So you're always tensing our muscles. Relax your muscles, but keep your body upright. Your hands in the meditation gesture or mudra in your lap, if you like. There's many you can do, but one we typically learn. Your left hand underneath, right on top, like this, thumbs touching, forming a triangle, and then sitting in your lap nicely. Otherwise, as you wish. Then your head. Your head is several points. First, slightly tilted forward. If it's thrust back, your mind gets agitated. Second, your jaw relaxed. Lips apart slightly. And then tip of the tongue behind the top teeth, just near the palate. This seems very odd, but there's logic to this too. The yogis have found, especially if you're meditating a long time, if your tongue is resting there, just by the top teeth, near the palate, you don't have to dribble all the time. You don't have to swallow your spit all the time. It's very practical. Tip of the tongue behind the top teeth. And then breathing through your nose, if you can, best. And then finally, your eyes. Again, all the yogis who meditate a long time, who meditate day and night, when in the daytime, when the light is there, because they're not distracted, their mind is more subtle, their mind is very inward, but having the eyes open allows the light to come in, which helps the mind stay sharp. But we get distracted, perhaps because we haven't got good concentration. So maybe just have your eyes lightly closed, but have your eyes looking down, as if you're looking along your nose towards the ground. This is the classical position that the yogis and yoginis have found to be best over the centuries. So settle into this position and then forget all about your body, because your body doesn't meditate. So next is the mind. So we just put it in the right position. We put it in the lamas say, set your motivation. Well, really what we're saying is, by saying that, we're saying, what is our goal? Where are we going? Where we're heading? What's the purpose? What are we doing here? Well, we're going to do this little meditation on the speech, but we're broadly, specifically using this little visualization. But more broadly, we're doing this meditation so that we can develop our marvelous potential, so we can be of benefit to others. That's the goal, thinking like that. So just visualize Buddha above your head. You can have the prayer up there now. The meditation. I'll lead it. Most of it, you just have to open your eyes if you haven't memorized the mantras, the syllables yet. Just have the Buddha above your crown. Imagine him there. And we'll say this little refuge prayer. Konshog sumla kyabsu chi, drola penchir sange shog. Konshog sumla kyabsu chi, drola penchir sange shog. Konshog sumla kyabsu chi, drola penchir sange shog. That's the essence of refuge and the essence of bodhicitta. I take refuge in the three jewels, and may I become a Buddha to benefit all. Okay. So now, start at the beginning, yeah. Okay, so just concentrate now. And on your tongue, you imagine that the syllable R, of course, if we don't know the Sanskrit or Tibetan, the Roman letters AH, standing upright on your tongue. But before we start, I'm so sorry, I'm so scattered. Just to remind ourselves why we want to do this seemingly odd little meditation. I mean, it's so curious. Why do we want to so-called bless our speech? Well, you know, this is why the Buddhist teachings are marvelous. He divides the practices, the levels of practice. Are first, control and discipline the body. Second, control and discipline the speech. And then third, the mind. You know, the body and speech are the servants of the mind. Have a look at the world and we'll see very clearly it's the anger and the crazy minds that cause the problems, but it's the body and the speech that do the work of the mind. That the body and the speech do the harming, the abusing, the stealing, the raping, the killing, don't they? It comes from the mind. So it's so marvelous and so logical that you'd start with controlling the servants of the mind. It makes such sense, you know. And if we can begin to have some good discipline over our body and speech, already our mind is subdued. Already the mind is extraordinarily different, you know. Makes such sense. And so speech for us, most of us don't rape and kill, maybe, you know, but we look at our speech and we just don't think it matters. We say in our world, I can say what I like, I can think what I like, I can do what I like. We say like that. Well, indeed you can, but there are consequences. Karma, cause and effect, everything we think and do and say just naturally first programs us. We produce the person we become. This is something we do not realize. It's like we're really quite demented, you know, not realizing whatever we say, do and think produces the person I become first, not to mention the impact on others. So it's like an incredible practice of self-respect to want to control our body, speech, and mind. So speech, we need it badly. We can't exist without it. Okay, sometimes we can't talk. Sometimes people can't talk, but if we have it, we can do so much benefit. We can do so much good. Our wishes get fulfilled. We need to run things, organize things, make things happen. We need good speech. No one listens otherwise. If no one believes your words, what good are you? If no one likes your words, what good? What, you can do nothing. Not only can we, then so what do we, so, and also we can benefit others with our speech, give advice. This is incredible. So how do we improve our speech? This is interesting. First, we just be silent, consciously silent. Second, consciously refrain from harmful speech, angry speech, talking bad things about people behind their backs, which is our favorite. Refrain from just rabbiting on uselessly. Refrain from saying words that aren't true. And even I always say we should, we mightn't say things consciously lying, but we speculate. We think we're right and we're not. We mislead people. So just refraining from these very consciously, but then proactively saying positive words. I mean, this sounds so silly, but it's so powerful. Saying mantra, unbelievably powerful. And these syllables are Sanskrit. All the lamas say Sanskrit sound, said to be the most powerful, the most marvelous. And this is all the Sanskrit sounds, the sounds that make up the words. So by reciting these, we purify, we make our speech powerful, we purify our speech. And as we know, of course, we're also adding to it the little visualization of purifying our body, purifying the body and mind as well. So, it's ah on your tongue, okay? Standing upright. And then you imagine it turns into a moon disc, a little flat white cushion on your tongue. And then on top of that, there's a white Om standing upright on the white moon disc. And then now you visualize now, imagine it's surrounded by all the vowels and the consonants and all the other syllables. So first the white vowels circling clockwise. Just have to imagine, do our best, unless we've memorized it. And then surrounding those are the red consonants, counterclockwise. And surrounding them, the blue heart mantra of dependent relation, or the letters of the dependent, the mantra of dependent arising. All on our tongue, imagine. So now we imagine all the light goes out from all these syllables in the colors, white, red, and blue, and goes to all the 10 directions of the universe. North, south, east, west, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, up and down, 10 directions, and hooks the energy of all the powerful speech of all the holy beings, all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, all the yogis and yoginis, all the people practicing, hooks the energy of their powerful speech. And all this energy of the power of the speech of all these beings comes back with these light beams and absorbs into the syllables on our tongue, making them even radiant and marvelous, like delicious, almost like ready to melt into nectar. Full out, the syllables on our tongue now, full of the blessings and the power of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and holy beings and yogis and yoginis throughout the universe. Imagine this. So now we're going to recite the syllables. And first, as we recite the consonants, we imagine red nectar pouring down from these letters, filling us completely from head to toe. And we imagine as we recite so happily, purifying all the imprints in our minds of all the actions we have ever done since beginningless time, because nothing goes astray. Everything gets stored in the mind. Of all the actions we've ever done with our bodies to harm others. So, if you have confidence in reincarnation, you can imagine all the imprints from all the past actions, especially as animals. If we can think about this. Animals with such intense suffering, their minds so overwhelmed by such intense ignorance, and therefore so much fear, therefore so much attachment, therefore so much aggression, because of their absolute fear, living in fear of being destroyed. So the harm we do as animals is inconceivable, ripping each other's bodies out continuously and living in such agony and pain. All the harm we've ever done out of our own ignorance from countless lifetimes. All these karmic imprints instantly purified, imagined so happily, purified by this radiant red nectar, totally filling us as we recite. Om. Oh, I'm sorry, I did the consonants first. Well, never mind, we're doing the consonants first, and I did it all wrong. So never mind, just doesn't matter. Completely confusing everybody. It's meant to be the first one. So it's the speech I'm doing. So just imagine, change the colors to white now. Just forget. Change the color to white. It's the vowels, and it's the body. Radiant white nectar, filling us completely, purifying all these imprints of all the actions we've ever done with our bodies to harm sentient beings. As we recite these vowels, white nectar, completely purifying, so happily. Om, e, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, swaha. Om, e, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, swaha. Om, e, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, swaha. Full of this white nectar, so happy. And because everything is a dependent arising, because there's nothing set in stone, because even negativity is empty of intrinsic nature, it can be purified. Have such confidence in this. Totally full of this radiant nectar. And imagining all the imprints of all the negativity done by our bodies since the beginning of this time, completely purified. So happy. Full of this nectar. Now, imagine as we recite as we recite now the consonants, red nectar, this time red, and this time purifying all of the harm we've ever done, mostly as humans, of course. I mean, animals make some sounds, they may scare each other, but we're the clever ones with the speech, aren't we? Because of our heads full of all these clever concepts, which we can articulate in these clever sounds. All the harm we've ever done to sentient beings with our speech, the harm, and even just this life, our families, people we've abused, people we talk about, the harm we do to ourselves and the harm we do to others with our speech, and since beginning of time. All the harm we've ever done, all the imprints in the mind, totally eradicated by this blissful, blissful red nectar filling us as we recite the consonants. Om ka ganga, cha janya, ta dana, ta dana, pa ba ma, yada ba, sha haksa swaha. Om ka ganga, cha janya, ta dana, ta dana, pa ba ma, yada ba, sha haksa swaha. Om ka ganga, cha janya, ta dana, ta dana, pa ba ma, yada ba, sha haksa swaha. The red nectar completely filling us, completely purifying, making our speech so marvelous, purifying all the rubbish, making our speech meaningful, appropriate, precise, clear, beneficial. We all want that. Full of this blissful red nectar, all the negativity gone. So happy. So now the mind, the source of all the goodness and the source of all the problems, the thoughts, the concepts. So here, as we recite these syllables of the dependent related heart mantra, as Rinpoche calls it, the mantra of the dependent arising, which is the way to realize emptiness, this blue nectar comes down, like the sky maybe, a sunny Santa Fe day. The blue nectar fills us completely eradicating immediately the misconceptions, the root delusion that's so primordial, we can't even notice it. We don't even hear it. It's totally, utterly, as an absolute given for us that there is an intrinsic me in here, and there is an intrinsic thing out there. This is an absolute truth for us. It's the fundamental mistake. This assumption of an intrinsic me, of a separate, pointable, findable, set in stone me. It's a complete fabrication, Buddha says. So that one, eradicated. Then all its main voices. The main voice of the ego grasping is attachment. This emotional hunger to get what that fantasy me wants every millisecond. And then the aversion and the panic attack and the anger and frustration and upset and annoyance and irritation that arises the millisecond attachment is thwarted. This happens 1,000 times a day. So subtle. And then all the other delusions that arise from these three poisons. As Ling Rinpoche says, 21,000 of the 84,000 loads of rubbish in our mind that Buddha talks about, 21,000 are rooted in ignorance, the self-grasping. 21,000 are rooted in the attachment. 21,000 are rooted in the aversion. And the fourth 21,000 are rooted in all three. So it's a really coherent map of the mind that Buddha has. It's amazing. All these delusions that have no basis in reality. And because, this is the point, this is the logic, because they are fabrications, because they're conceptual stories that literally have been made up, there's no relationship to reality. And because of that, they can be removed. That's the logic. Whereas the virtues, they are at the core of our being. You can't remove them. You can't remove the virtues from the mind. They're the conventional characteristics of the mind. They're who we really are. The concepts called love, compassion, empathy, all the others. They are rooted in reality. This is amazing. So imagine all the delusions gone, eradicated by this blissful blue nectar filling us. As we recite this wonderful little mantra. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatagato yevadat shan chayo niroda evam vadimaha shamana yesvaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatagato yevadat shan chayo niroda evam vadimaha shamana yesvaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhava hetun teshan tatagato yevadat shanchayo niroda evam vadimaha shramanaya svaha. Imagine now, all the delusions gone, and what's left? All your virtues. Love, compassion, kindness, generosity. And what else? The bonus is bliss. The mind is naturally blissful, naturally happy, naturally joyful when the delusions are gone. This is what Buddha has found. This is Buddha's method for happiness. Get rid of delusions. How amazing. For this blissful blue nectar. So now you imagine all these red consonants. What's happening? No. All these syllables, the dependent related heart mantra, the blue ones, dissolve into the red consonants. Imagine that. On your tongue. Then all the red consonants dissolve into the white vowels. And the white vowels dissolve into the moon disk. No, they dissolve into the Om, the white Om. And the white Om dissolves into the moon disk. And then the moon disk turns into an Ah. And then the R turns into pink colored nectar and dissolves into your tongue. So as Rinpoche says, it becomes heavy and strong and like Vajra nature, and it's indestructible. Think of it as indestructible, meaning that nothing now can take away or harm the benefit of the power of your speech, you know. And have strong confidence that all the power and the blessings of all the speech of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas and the sages and the yogis and the yoginis and even the good people like us doing our best to control our speech. All this energy is entered into our speech, and we have perfected our speech. Think like that. I have perfected my speech. Can you imagine? Speech is the greatest gift of the Buddha. You can have 1 million Buddhas looking at you very nice every day. Until they open their mouth, we can do nothing. We need to hear the speech. It's the way we communicate what's in the mind. It's the most powerful. So think too, your speech is now powerful and is now beneficial. Can you imagine? Whatever you say, even just saying hello, even laughing, even your laugh, good morning, this can benefit whoever hears you. All the spirits, all the beings, all the ants, all the birds, all the humans, all the mosquitoes, all the rats, all the mice, whoever hears you, they are benefited by your speech. Can you imagine? And as Rinpoche says, you know, your speech doesn't become gossip. Your mantras are 1 million times more powerful. And even someone who's emotionally upset, just a few quiet words from your mouth, you can subdue their mind. Speech is unbelievable, people. This is just so marvelous to point it out, you know. These marvelous practices to help us make our speech more powerful, more useful. Be so happy. And this sweet, sweet little dedication. May my tongue have all the courage of the ones gone to bliss. By the power manifesting from these glorified words, may all sentient beings be subdued. And whatever words I say, this is what the Bodhisattvas need. Whatever words I say, may all these actions be accomplished instantly. So whether it's the end of the day or the beginning of the day for you, wherever you are on the planet, you make a firm decision now. I'm going to watch my speech like a hawk. Consciously don't talk. Consciously refrain from negative talk, and proactively, consciously say positive words, helpful words, kind words. And you are the beneficiary first and foremost. Don't ever think you're not. You are the beneficiary. It'll help you subdue your mind. It will help you. We forget this in the West. And then, of course, you help others. Be so delighted in this little practice. There it is, 30 minutes gone like a dream. Like as if 1 second on the clock has gone, a whole 30 minutes is gone. And our life is gone like that. So have a happy sense of urgency not to waste today. And I thank you all for coming. It's so nice to see you all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your help, Greg. And thank you, Lou. And thank you, everybody. And much, much love.